Thank you. I want to thank Jacob for inviting me. I think this is awesome when we get together and talk as a community. We all go to a lot of clinics and hear about the air raid and RPOs and a bunch of stuff that's nice, but it's nice to get like-minded people together. So I appreciate you inviting me and getting this opportunity to visit with you a little bit. Um, I love Alabama too. During COVID, I went on vacation there, and I realized COVID didn't exist in Alabama. And
Not at all.
we
Not
were
at
at
all.
Gulf Shores in a condo, and my wife was teaching remote, so we called the person, found out how much it was going to cost to rent the condo till May, and my wife and my two kids stayed in Gulf Shores, Alabama, on a condo and went to school so that they could go to school and play sports and do stuff. And ultimately, that's what led me to leave college football the first time. Was then I got a job down in Texas because everything was shut down in New Mexico, and ended up coming back 2 years later after a great experience down in South Texas coaching high school football, and did my second tenure at Eastern. My second tenure wasn't as good. I left Eastern, all-time winningest coach in school history. Came back 3 years, and I got asked not to do it anymore. So that's one of the downsides about the option. If you have a bad year, sometimes people want um, more exciting style of football. So, but this is a great opportunity at Silver High School. I'm up in the Gila Wilderness in the mountains. I have an opportunity to coach my son. So really kind of a blessing that came our way, a roundabout way. So excited to be here at Silver High School, and we're going to continue to run the flex bone. Today I'm going to talk to you about our belly and our toss, but really it's more of how we package those two together. So we'll start with the toss. We'll kind of go through that fast to get more into the nuts and bolts of the belly G down play. So I'm going to share my screen here and we'll get started. I'm not at Eastern New Mexico anymore. I'm at Silver High School, but this was a presentation I already had made. First thing we're going to talk about is the rocket sweep, the quick pitch, the toss. Goes by a lot of different names. The way we block it is our play side wide receiver has the near deep defender. Our running back's going to arc the force, whether that's a corner or safety or an outside backer in a 3-2 exchange. If we have a tight end, he's going to hook the defensive end if he's head up or outside. If he's aligned inside, he's going to climb and work linebacker to safety. If we did it to a tight end, then our tackle would kind of zone up. If he's the end man on the line of scrimmage, he will do exactly what the tight end did. We've coached this a lot of different ways. The way we're doing it right now is our play side guard's going to pull, and he's going to wrap for the backside backer. We've had him zone up. We've double pulled him. I think there's a lot of ways you can do that. And some of the film, you'll see us doing it both ways. And then everybody else is scooping. Backside slot's going to go in motion through the heels of the fullback, get flat. Fullback's going to, in the past, we've had fake triple option, cut the backside DN. We got a couple bad calls. They said the DN was outside the box because everyone zoned away, even though he wasn't. So we quit doing that just to avoid that. And now he fakes B back toss the other way. We're going to snap it when the motion man gets in play side B gap. We're going to pitch a dead toss with no spin, and we're going to try to catch the ball completely outside the defensive end. Our backside wide receiver, tight end, is going to convoy. So that's how we rule it up. This is what it would look like to an open formation. I think the key here is, like I said, right now we're pulling this guard. We've double reached here. We've had what we call a fat guard rule where we just zone him up because we know that he can't pull. But I think when you're running this toss play, it's very important that, because sometimes they're not going to let you get outside. You're going to have to kick this. We want to get outside, but it's not always going to happen. Is you have to seal this right here and create a lane for that running back to hit. We tell the running back he's got one cut on this play. It's not a good running play for a running back that wants to juke. You either stick your foot in the ground, you get north-south, or you run for the sideline. But we always want to be able to protect this in case we get hard force here. And so what we really like doing, and we're a little bit different, is making sure that we seal this guy. Now, if he goes inside at all, we're going to run off and leave him, and nobody's going to block him. The guard will pull around him, and the tackle will zone up. If he works at all, our tackle's going to hook, and our guard's going to pull. And we've done it every single way you could do it, but we feel like through a lot of self-study, that's the best way and the most efficient way to do it. So that's the way we're doing it right now. So I'm going to give you a lot of film because we teach our kids with film. We use these cut-ups right here to teach our kids. And when I go, that's what I want to see. I want to see the film. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see you coach it. So here we're in an overset. We're going to run toss over here. Obviously, we tell you he's got the near deep defender. It's easy when it's one high. When it's one high, he knows he's got the corner. There's nothing to read. He's going to, what we say, it's going to turn into an outside stock. We're going to run off. We're going to block, and then we're going to push hard with our right shoulder, and we're going to try to seal the sideline. He's going to take 3 lateral arc steps, and we do that so we can read the force, because sometimes it's too high and we don't know who we're blocking. Right now it's easy. One high tells him I've got the overhang. So he knows he's going to get this guy. He knows he's going to get this guy. If it's too high, it's a little trickier. We got to read it. Now, right here, it's an easy snap read for the tight end. This guy's already inside. So tight end's not even going to mess with him. He's basically going to zone up, and he's going to block the play side linebacker to the free safety first threat. The tackle will reach this guy unless he slants inside hard, and he'd climb. And that's what we're going here. I don't think this was back when we were pulling the guard. So that guard's probably just going to zone up. So, really, you got to get 3 guys here that got to get blocks. No one else really matters. All right. Let's see if the quarterback snaps at good time. Good. Well, I think we're dummying it here. So we did a little freeze, which is something we do a lot. Okay. And the reason I talked this thing is we're packaging belly and toss together is because if this guy was out here as a 9, we were going to run the belly G play. Okay. So we went and froze it. We signaled in belly check, which meant if this guy's inside, call the toss. If he's outside here as a 9, run the belly. If he's playing a 6, we could do either play. Okay. So right here, we froze it. Quarterback sees he's inside. He goes to rocket toss. We get the ball snapped, catched outside, caught outside, and we're good. Now you'll see this is old film, so you'll probably see some cuts that were illegal nowadays, but we haven't stopped running this stuff. And in some ways, we think it might be better because we don't go out there and miss any cuts anymore. So right here, quarterback knows. We froze it. He knows right now he's going toss. If they're in a double eagle defense, if that guy would have been a 9, we'd run belly. Since he's in here, we got these 2 plays packaged together. Inside, outside, we're running toss, and good stuff's going to happen. I'll show you another one. We like this a lot down on the goal line. We'll do some double tight stuff, and the same thing right here. This was a deal where he could have gone either way because we've got good angle for the belly play, but he was a veteran quarterback, and what he said was, Coach, I know we had angles for the belly. There's only one guy outside, so I knew the tight end could get up here, so I knew it was going to be easy if we tossed it. I wouldn't have faulted him if he'd have took these able and we down kick. But I understood, and I give these guys a lot of freedom. I just ask that they have a reason for what they're doing, and it's a good reason. So right there, quarterback did a good job getting the ball tossed outside. Like he said, this guy tight ends right up to the safety. We get the guy kicked, and we walk in. Now, like I say, by our rule, this guy's way inside here. That's the guy we're probably looking at. We probably should have run the belly. He might have been thinking this was the DN, so he might have been thinking that was toss. But it was good. Defense isn't really taking away either one of those plays. Again, another time to the tight end side. I wanted to show you some because a lot of people only run this to the open side. We'll run it to the tight end side too. All right. So we got here. We got the defensive end in a 6 or a 9. We got the linebacker walked up. We're 1 for 1 outside. So quarterback chose toss. Again, I wouldn't have faulted him if he'd have run the belly G play there either. All right, now we're getting some more conventional look where we're going to run it to the nub. The nub play, obviously, when you're running rocket toss, hits faster. It's a shorter edge, more conventional way. I think we might even have a crack call here. So we're going to crack the outside linebacker and arc. That makes our arc easy. We know we're arcing the corner now. We did a lot of this when they changed the cut rule. We started cracking and switching a lot to give angles. Now the only difference is this would probably be an illegal block. What we do now is if we get to this point and this guy hasn't turned, we just yell. We coach our guys to yell, "Hey!" And that will usually get his head to snap around, and then we can still be real physical on that block. If he doesn't, then we've got to use a basketball screen, but we want to be physical. So we'll yell at him, so we can go in there and be tough on it. This is back when football was football. way I think we should still play it, but we got to adapt with the rules. But obviously, it was a good play here. We don't always crack it. That's just a tag for us. Our tackle is going to try to reach that 5 technique right there. He went inside. He may turn and seal him. He may climb. I wouldn't have faulted him either way. He didn't think he could make the play, so he climbed, which was great because now we got a body up on the free safety. And I a lot of times I don't try to overcoach that too much. What I will coach is to be definitive. Okay. I'll give you some leeway of whether you made the right decision or not, but you got to be definitive. You got to go and get someone and play fast. And I'm going to go through this toss stuff a lot quick because I really want to get to the belly stuff. All right, again, we're 1 high, so he knows he's got the corner. It's press. We're just going to outside release and run off. Since it's 1 high, he knows he's arcing the force. 3 lateral steps. We're trying to get outside. They may not let us. They actually do a pretty good job here. The tackle decides to climb. He could have sealed, but he climbed. They force it pretty good, and the free safety's running the alley hard, but the running back does a great job here. He sticks his foot in the ground, and he's going to make that guy make a hard and fast tackle, and he's able to make a miss. Now, this could have been not a great play for us if this slot doesn't play fast, if he starts dancing and slows down here, because our tackle did choose to climb, could have sealed it. He chose to climb. He takes the backer because he's there before the free. So now we got to outrun the DN, and we're one-on-one on the free. 1 cut, right? Makes a miss, breaks a tackle, big play. This is a number game. We're in a little unbalanced thing here. I don't really like the way it's on the perimeter. I would have preferred the quarterback to run the belly here, down, kicked, sealed, because this guy's probably going to be a problem. But we kind of have a rule with these guys. If we set the overset into the boundary and they gave us 4 to the field, we want to get the ball in the perimeter to have a big play. So that was years of me telling them that. Like, if, I allow to run, but if we set the overset in the boundary, instead of just checking VEER or belly or opposite and going to the nub, let's get the ball in the perimeter. Here they might have had us outnumbered on the perimeter. I would have liked for them to run belly. But usually when you run into numbers, it's going to work out, and it did here. Now, I think the tackle did a great job here, and this is something that's still legal in high school football and college football. You can still cut here as long as you engage up top. So he reaches him, he's blocking, he starts to lose him. If it's a continuous slide down and we work this as a drill, that's a legal cut. And so I thought he did a great job there. Now, when we were doing this was legal, but we still coach our tackles and even our arc blocks this way. We engage. If we start losing them, slide down, and we coach the refs up on it hard before the game. We usually bring an iPad out, show them, make sure they agree with us that that's a legal block so they don't call a touchdown back. Like I say, good job by the tackle. Running back can't arc anymore. We got the numbers, and it was a good play. Same thing here. We got the overset into the boundary. We count numbers. We're looking for 4.5 here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4.5. My quarterback knows we want to get the ball outside here. And versus this 6-1 look, obviously this is the only guy to arc, so he has him. So the guard and tackle have to take care of these two. And usually you're going to get some kind of, pinch stunt or maybe an X stunt. So it's pretty easy for these two to get these two. So when we start running this toss for 7-man front and we're not pull pinning it, we just basically tell these two, you've got these two. And we get them on track and they take care of it. They do a great job right there. And basically the way we used to coach it, if that was our rule. If it was a 7-man front, those two had those two. We were so much pull pin it now when it's a 7-man front. We kind of just rule it up a different way, but that was the way we used to rule it. We got that from Air Force. If it's too high, you seal and pull. If it was 1 high, you seal and pull. If it's too high, the guard and tackle have the two, the read key and the pitch key in the normal, 1 and 2 in the normal triple option count. Okay, same thing here. I put this on because it was a little 3-2 exchange. So the tackle didn't do a great job here, but the running back did. DN or the outside backer ran out, so he blocks him. Tackle was going to the right guy. He just took a bad path, so he ends up on the safety. They just switch assignments. Defense switches, we switch with them. Um, we work a toss drill where we work, corner trigger, safety trigger, and 3-2 exchange. So our guys get a lot of reps at it. Whiteout did a great job on his outside stock. Right there, see him, he blocks him, and then he seals the sideline. That's where we want to get. So there's a lot of good stuff on that. Another thing we'll do sometimes on the quick pitch or the rocket is we'll just veer our tackle, especially if we know that this DN is playing veer and riding us hard down when we're veering him. So instead of blocking him, we'll just veer him. We'll pull the guard. We'll tell the guard only block him, log him if he bounces out. Normally he's trying to get the mic, like versus 4-3. So we'll turn the tackle and DN loose. We'll veer to the mic, pull to the mic, and hopefully one of those two guys can get the mic. This is a tag we just call it an X tag, and we use it versus teams that are mirroring our release on our tackle. Here they didn't mirror as much as we thought, so the tackle's going to get to the mic, but our guard had to go ahead and log that guy. So that's just another little wrinkle I wanted to show on there. And because we like this, because it looks very much like the belly, right? Because you get a guard pull, you get a guy coming down, even though he's not down blocking to the defense. It's very similar. So when we start running the belly play, the G play, they're very similar with each other. Okay, now we talked about pin pull. A lot of times versus 7-man front, we're just going to add a pull tag, a pin tag, and we're going to come to a condensed. We call it a flex formation, whether it's a wide out or tight end standing up. He's going to block what would be number 2 in the option count. Basically, he's going to block the outside linebacker. He's going to seal him. Running back knows now he's got the corner. Tackle is pulling around, and he's pulling for the safety. And our guard's still pulling to cut off backside pursuit. So pin pull. Now, a coaching point on this, when we run pin pull, we won't pitch the ball as far. We'll snap it a little bit earlier because we get a lot of really hard corner trigger. And we want to be able to catch that ball, get that kicked, and get in this seam here. So we tell our quarterback when we pin pull it, he can snap it a little bit earlier. Okay. So if you see that here, that's what's going on. Here against the 6-1 look, now the pin guy's got the outside linebacker. If it was a stacked 4-3, we'll have him read that. He'll step, and then he'll read whichever one works out. If the backer works out, he'll seal him. If the backer stays and the DN works out because they're doing a little X stunt, then he'll seal him. But the only time he has to read it is versus a 4-3 stack, or I guess if we ran it versus a 3-3 stack, we could read it too, but we don't see that much. So I'll give you a couple looks at this. So we're going to run here into the boundary. We're going to pin the outside linebacker. We're going to arc the corner. Tackles up for the safety. Good play into the boundary. Sometimes toss isn't as good into the boundary. When you're pin pulling it, it's a great play into the boundary. We usually will let our quarterback check it either way based on leverage. If the leverage is same, we'll go to the field. If we've got better leverage into the boundary, we'll go into the boundary. Another look here. We get the pin pull, tackle up to the safety. Good job by these convoying on the backside. Now he held this set pretty good here. Probably, if you and we'll tell him. It's a lot of little coaching points here, but we'll tell him if we don't have anyone in a position for a hard trigger, you can still pitch it way out there. That corner wasn't really set up to trigger hard, so we were able to get it pretty far out there. Give you the end zone shot here too. And like I said, even though our rule is to pull this, every now and then we've got a guard that is not going to pull and block anyone. We call it our fat guard rule, and we'll just zone him up and let him cut off some pursuit. So even though normally he'll pull, so you might see 2 or 3 of our guys will usually rotate 4 in a game. They might pull, and you might see one that's never pulling. That's because he was told he's too slow to do that. So we're not going to ask him to do something he can't be successful at. So we'll just go ahead and get a block right there. I guess he's still trying to pull. He didn't know himself very well. He was a fat guard. He should have climbed. Same look, just out of an unbalance. We got the flex, but we got the X over. Now we're arcing the force, and the pull's looking for that free safety. One more clip here, kind of a bear Mike look. Okay, you know, that 5-1-5 look, sometimes that option defense. So we're going to go ahead and seal this D in. We're going to arc this corner, and then the tackle's going to pull for this guy. Free safety was not doing a good job there. They were hell-bent on sitting this. This is a two-time All-American running back, Harlan Hill finalist, which is a D2 Heisman. They held him to 50 yards this game, but all three slots had over 180. So free safety was ruled up, I think, on the fullback. See him stop there. So we didn't give the fullback the ball much. We put the ball in the running back's hands in that game, and they did a great job. Another time here, pin pull. Looks like they've got an extra defender to the field here. Nope, they're balanced. Sorry, they're balanced. So we're going to go to the field here. Leverage is the same. We're going to pin there and pull. Good looking play. Now we've got the extra defender to the field, right? Bear Mike look, two shell. They put an extra guy here, so we're going to check it over there into the boundary. Same thing. We're going to seal that D in there. And then 2 for 2 on the pin pull there. Okay, so this was all to say that we use the rocket play and the belly G play in unison. Okay. All right. Going through the rules. Yeah, I'll go through it quick. It's down block and play side. Our play side slot base rule is to go around the in-man line of scrimmage and load the backer. We will let him come under sometimes. We will put him in between the tight end and tackle and make him come under some. We want him to have a lot of tools in his tool bag. We'll put him really wide like Air Force does, almost on the line, and treat it like a crack sometimes. We learned that from them. So we want to give that's the toughest block. We want to give him a lot of things. So our fullback's going to cheat back 1 yard. If we have a tight end, his aiming point's going to be the outside leg of the stat. He's going to go lateral, crossover, and square on his third step. So his first step sideways. Then he's going to cross over. His third step's going to square his shoulders so he can cut back, hit the hole, or bounce it. Our quarterback's going to fake the toss. We're going to let that motion go like it's toss. We're going to fake the toss, open up 135 degrees, take a second step to the fullback, get it to him as deep as possible, and then we're going to ride him. And I think it's very important that the quarterback make a two-handed handoff on this. Some quarterbacks want to hand off with their inside hand. Well, as soon as you do that, everyone knows the fullback's got the ball. So we're going to fake the toss, then we're going to get it, and we're going to mesh so they have to respect belly option too. Backside wide receiver will just convoy. So this is what it would look like to a tight end. That's versus split defense. If we got an A-gap player there and the center can't reach him, if he's a shade, we're going to tell our center he needs to cut him. If he's in the gap or a one technique, some people call it a 2-eye, we might have to call the tackle down on him, and those two will double there to seal that gap for the pulling guard. And then we're going to down block and seal and kick and hopefully hit that alley right there. Another look. Now this would be versus 6-1 look, which is the best angles you're ever going to get to run this play. 2 down blocks versus a 3 and a 5 there. Kick the 9. The slots got the Mike linebacker. Heck of a play right there. Okay. Now, little trickier versus an Okie. Okay. The trickiest is if you got a 4 technique, right? And one of the things I'll always ask our guys, who's going to block this guy? And the answer is it could be the tackle. It could be the tight end, right? If this 4 slants across the tackle's face, he'll block him, and the tackle will immediately, his down block will turn to a VEER. They're both going to step flat. They're going to protect penetration and their gap. And then whichever one doesn't down block that guy is going to turn it into a VEER and climb. So if he works this way, now the tight end's going to step flat, get his head in front, stop penetration. The tackle will step flat, and then he'll climb. Again, nothing changes here. We're going to inside out, kick out. We're loading. Everyone else is scooping. So faking the toss. We do have a tight end. Aiming point for the fullback is the outside leg of the tackle. Okay. Now, if we run it over to the nub side, so meaning we have no tight end over there, we're going to change our footwork for the fullback. He's going to still take a lateral. He's still going to go crossover. His third step's still going to clear him, but his aiming point goes from the outside leg of the tackle to the inside. So it's got to be a tighter because that's going to be a quicker kick out, and he's got to be able to run up in there. He still cheats back a yard. Our quarterback now will not fake the toss because if we do a good job faking the toss and we've changed the fullback's footwork, we could have a fumble. So he'll just reverse out 135 degrees, get it to him, ride it, and carry out a great belly option fake. We will still let the motion go far to try to hold these force players. One thing that we do that some people don't, and this has been fantastic for us, is if this guy squeezes, we allow our guard to log him. And now with our lateral footwork, our fullback can now run right here. And there is a soft spot in defenses right here. They're going to try to spill it to a safety that's playing down here that also has to roll down now and take pitch probably. So how can he roll down and take pitch and then tackle the fullback? If he does, we need to be running belly option. So that's something that we're going to do a little different. If that guy squeezes hard, we're going to let our guard log him, and we're going to expect our fullback to get outside of him. Now, you have to coach the heck out of the fullback. Once he gets a log, he's got to get vertical right now. We never want to run sideways because there's going to be unblocked defenders. We want to stick our foot in the ground and get in the sweet spot right here. And eventually, we will actually find ways to block the guys they're trying to spill it to. First thing we'll do is let them spill it, see if there's a soft spot. Okay? So let's look at this. For here, we're running to the tight end side, so we're going up top. We're going to fake the toss. We're going to go lateral crossover square. Should be a good play. They got two stand-up guys. The only guy down on the defense is the nose guard. They're doing that because they were running a lot of X stunts and trying to keep our guys off the linebackers. See how far we let the motion go? See how the quarterback fakes the toss? That's going to make these guys respect the toss. It's also going to probably widen this 9 technique and make the guard's job easier. And now we get a textbook kick seal, just like you want to see it drawn up. And we could draw up a lot of plays as coaches, and then it doesn't always look that way. But by making this play look like toss, it helps the defense stay that way. So my tackle or tight end, they don't know who's going to block this guy right now. They're both going to step flat. Boom. He's going inside. Tackle's got him. Tackle does a terrible job. That's terrible technique, but it doesn't matter because the guy slanted himself out of the play. Tight end did a good job of not chasing. He doesn't chase that play side linebacker outside. He goes the backside backer, slots on the play side backer. There we go. We're in an overset here. Whiteout's just going to run this guy off. We're going to kick this guy, so we got a nice soft edge to kick right here. So if we had toss and belly package, look how wide he is. This is definitely belly. We're running belly all day here. Again, you see how far he let him go, fakes the toss, and we get the ball there. This is a funny one. We got away with something on this one, I think. Yeah, see this? Our center scooped the wrong way. He thought he could block this guy, so he didn't call for help. He's going to scoop him by himself, but he's going the wrong way. But sometimes the great thing about option, D linemen get a little worried when they're unblocked. They think they're getting red and they stop. But that should have been a bad play. We got lucky there. All right, we're going up top. No, we're coming down here. Coming down here, so we're running it to the nub. So the fullback's footwork's going to change. Now, we didn't make any tag, so we're going to have a double load here. So the flex guy will go load. The slot will load. Whoever gets here first is going to get him. Whoever gets here is going to get him. Little monster junk defense. We got that sealed right there. I think that was maybe the first play of the game that season. Okay, here's one where we're going to get a 6-1 look. Very good defense, one of the top defense in the nation. Coached up very well. They're squeezing hard here. You see our guards, see how hard they squeeze. We're not going to try to kick that. We're not going to just say, because it's the down kick play, we got to kick it every time. We log it right there. Fullback bounces. Fullback knows he gets vertical. There's 2 unblocked players. But right now, he's been coached. He's done this 1,000 times in his career in pod drills. Vertical right there. That's not something we're guessing on the defense, making a mistake. This is how we're attacking them. Faking the toss. Boom, we get the log, we get the seal, and we're getting vertical. And this is like I said, like the number 10 defense in the country. This is not a bad defense this year. We beat this team in overtime and knocked them out of the playoffs. Okay, overset. We're heavy. Coming down here, faking the toss. That 9 technique's outside. This quarterback had a chance of running the belly of the toss here. He checked belly. Correct check. Now, not a very good job by our slot there. This kid wasn't a great blocker, but he was a All-American running back. So we put up with some bad blocking because he was very good catching the ball and he was very good running the ball. Don't like this out of the slot at all. Here we got a 4th down. We're in unbalanced X over tight. We can rule him a couple different ways. If we don't call anything, he's just going to load. So here we got a down block, a load. We got an extra load blocker in the short yardage here situation. And see, our guard does a good job. He just keeps working. Because really, that's kind of the guy by defense you would normally kick. But since we've got the extra load, we seal here. Guard goes all the way out, ends up kicking the corner. Outstanding job. Had our big fullback in for short yardage. He bounced outside. It scared me to death. But we executed well. Did a good job right there. Okay. Kind of the same thing. Unbalanced X over. Double loading it. We got the running back loading. We got the wideout loading. Creates a nice seal there. We like belly out of this formation. We also like it when the guy that plays for the Chiefs in the NFL is playing on this side here. We can run away from him. That's Wharton. He still plays for the Chiefs. Overset. Again, this is the guy the quarterback's looking. We're not going to run toss here. We're going to run belly, right? We're inside here, but he's wide, so we can down, kick, right? Running back ends up outside. Great job by the center. He gets all the way up to the safety. Okay. X over. So I think we're going to run over here. We're going to run to the nub. So now we're not going to fake the toss. The fullback's footwork's going to be lateral crossover square inside leg of the tackle. We're ready for a quick kick out. And if we don't get the quick out, we can log. Right here, I think he could have gone inside on the kick. He thought it was a log, so he bounced. But he goes. We always put our best running back at fullback. We don't put the biggest guy, the toughest guy. We put our best guy at the B-back position. Our best running back that's tough enough to do it. That's our prerequisite. We've had 170 pounders at the college level up to 240 pounders. High school level, I've had 140-pound B-backs. We're going to put our best running back that's tough enough to play in there because he's the guy who's going to carry the ball the most. And that's one of the reasons we like the belly play. We're getting our best guy the football. This kid was a 3-time All-American for us. Great player. Had a long pro career in the Arena League. Played a lot of that stuff and some of those other leagues. Okay, now this is what we call a butt tag, and this is just means we're going to go in our flex situation here. He's going to load. He's going to crack the linebacker. Our running back now, instead of load, he's going to turn out and block this guy. And our backside running back, instead of faking the toss, he's going to go block the corner. Why do we do this? We do this when they are squeezing and making us log the belly play. So one of our big tenets in the ground strike offense is find out how the defense is defending you and then use that against them. So if they want to spill the belly, we'll run it, let them spill it, and then we're going to block every single guy they're spilling it to. So that now when they've come up with a plan, their plan is working against them. Their kids are getting frustrated. This kid's doing exactly what he's told all week. And the guy was going to get it spilled to is getting blocked. And if it doesn't, if it gets kicked, we're fine. Well, you know what I mean? It happens a lot where it gets kicked. But if it gets logged, we're in great shape. This is what I'll show you here. We're running it to the top. We're blocking all those guys that gets kicked, and we cut all the way back behind the scoops. We didn't get over there to none of that, and that's fine. It just became the belly play, right? We got a down and a kick. We got up to the mic, and that's there. But if they'd have squeezed it and they'd have made it log, we had everyone blocked. Here's another one. We're doing the same thing here. Instead of that guy right here, instead of him motion around, we tried to just motion the guy out and pull him out with us. We thought we were going to get it logged. A little bit different. We get it kicked. You can even see my guard thought it was going to be a log. Terrible path if you look at him. He's premeditated logging, but he got it kicked, and we got to cut back, and that's why you put your best player at fullback, because that's an NFL guy right there chasing him too, number one. He played for Green Bay and the Chiefs. He was a good player. We had to try to figure out how to get him blocked all the time. All right. So we're in a little bit of a heavy set. We got the tight end or an over tackle. I don't know what it is, and the white out, but we got the butt tag. So we're going to come down here. We're going to block out here, and we're going to let this running back motion and lead up here in case it gets spilled. And that was just good running. This is the reason I put this on here. This is the reason we coached for that fullback to get squared on his third step, because a lot of times when you're running triple option and that nose is crossing your face, that fullback can't see that cutback. We work on it forever, but on the belly, he's a little different. They start slanting, he can see that. And you got a good running back playing fullback. Sometimes you get those defenses over pursuing right there. Good stuff happens. Okay. The next thing you can do is run the belly option play. And now our guard's going to roll it, or is going to log it. We're going to get a half a mesh because we're not going to sit in there. We want the quarterback to get out there with speed. And everyone else is blocking the exact same. The fullback takes a half a mesh fake. His rule now is trash. Play side linebacker, trash to free safety. Quarterback gives a token fake. Now he's going to go pitch off the guy. So, if they are squeezing it, we can block them and let our running back carry it, or we can log him and go pitch off that guy they're trying to spill it to. So there's the rules. If you wanted that, I wanted to have a little of this on here. That's what it looks like. We run belly option a lot to the tight end side because we run so much belly to the tight end side. It's probably a better play to the nub because it's a shorter edge. We do it that way too, but we're running both ways here. You get the team, that DN starts squeezing the belly. We're going to log him, pitch off the next guy. To the nub side, it's a shorter edge. You can clear quicker. We like this versus the split. If the free safety is a problem when you're running regular triple load scheme, because now you got a body on the free. Your fullback can get to the free safety. We can usually down block log, seal the linebacker, fullback to the free, and that free safety is not a problem. So here's one where we're going to run it. Straight Okie defense, strong safety roll to the field. They're squeezing the belly hard. So we're going to down log. Fullback's fake. Does a great job, and he's going to get to the free safety. We're pitching off the fours. And we just tell our running backs to run a sloppy pitch path. The thing that we always tell them when we're running the VEER and the triple option to not do, we tell them you can do it here. You can lose a little ground. You can be a little sloppy. And we don't really overcoach it. We just tell them run a sloppy pitch path. Now, here's a great chance. This is split defense like I'm talking about. Free safety's geared up to run the alley. They're squeezing. We get it logged. Play side linebacker right there. Fullback's going to block the free safety right there at 1 yard, if you're seeing it. And now there's no one left, right? There's no one on quarterback. Outside linebacker's on pitch. Quarterback's going to run until he gets tackled. Now, this was when we could cut him. This was nice. Football was football. But it looks like our center felt like he needed help. Yeah. So our tackle's doubling down on him. So now the backside backer might be a problem. And that's why we don't want to spend a lot of time on a big fake here, because we got to be able to sprint and outrun that backside backer. Hopefully he gets tied up with the trash there, which he did. Now, we thought here that we were going to log the 9 technique. The 9 technique squeezes so hard, the tight end goes ahead and down blocks him. The guard knows that this is a pitch key, can't touch the pitch key. Cardinal rule in the option, so he just wraps and logs. So now we got 2 people trash to free safety. We got the guard and the fullback. And that's a beautiful thing when you got your guard and fullback up on the free safety. Running back actually does an outstanding job keeping pitch relationship. Quarterback could have dished it out to him, might have scored, but I don't fault him for just we already had a great play. But our plan here, pre-snap, when we called it from the sideline, was this 9's going to squeeze and we're going to log him. And we were right. He squeezed so hard. Our tackle got him. Our guards, our running back loaded right there. Now, like I said, our guard and fullback are trashed to free safety. We don't spend a lot of time on belly option. We usually rep it in our half line to the, to the tight end side once and to our open side once. So we'll get 2 reps at it each rep, 2 days. And that's about all we spend on it because we work the rest of the blocking when we do our belly pod. But it's a good play to defense. Again, split defense. Again, the fullback's blocked in the free safety about a yard down the left field. He gets them blocked. Quarterback walks in. We always reverse out on this because we're not going to try to call this play into like a strike or a hard edge blitz. It's not what we want to run into those situations. Sometimes a little wrinkle is we'll run belly option and we'll tag it with an F tag and make the fullback the pitch man. So we won't fake the belly at all. And now the quarterback will still reverse out because it times out that good. Fullback will cheat back and be our pitch man. Here we got it out of like a real unbalanced formation. We're sealing, loading, and he knows not to block the pitch key, so he's going to go work the safety there. Just another wrinkle. We do a lot of B-back pitch stuff because our B-backs are a lot of times our best athlete, and we want to have him be able to get him the ball in space. So we're going to try to log him, and right here, we end up with no pitch key. I think the load should have probably gone, and that should have been our pitch key. So the quarterback's probably just going to keep it. I'll have to see. Let me see the tight, and I can tell you what should have happened. Yeah, our running back should have not blocked that guy out there. He should have released and blocked here. We're going to load him. We're going to download, log, or wrap. There's a guy out here we're going to pitch, and our running back should have released here. He blocked the pitch key. So we should have turned him loose and got a body on him. He takes pitch. We got a body on him. It's probably score play. Not something we do a lot, but it's a nice little wrinkle. So we're going to either log or down block. I can't tell if he's a 7 or 6. Load. He should block him right here. Now he did a bad job. He funneled inside release. Now the free safety got over the top. But it was kind of nice because they were man coverage. He went inside, so the pitch key disappeared. Now right here, quarterback shouldn't have pitched the ball. I always tell the quarterbacks, if a guy's running across your face hard like this, we want to fake the pitch and run. Because what's going to happen is, this isn't the triple option where we're pitching downhill. This is double option. This guy's going to run right by you and make the play, which is what happened there. Still a good play. And the quarterback knows, and we worked that. That kid was really good. He didn't make a lot of mistakes, but he made one there. Should have faked the pitch and ran. Okay, we got a reverse off the belly. Just so it was belly talk, some things you can do. I really love the reverse off the belly option because you get the guard pull. And that we've all run option reverse, but there's something about adding that guard pull in it that really sells it. So we do this a couple different ways. We just block it like it's belly option to the play side. See, we get that guard pull in there. And now we give it back the other way. Our wideout's coming in and cracking. Our tackle's working out, shows scoop, and then he's working out for the corner. Show you another clip of that. Something great little reverse off the belly option. That was out of an overset, so we didn't have a crack. Tackle just fakes the scoop and blocks whatever's out there. I'm going to show you this real quick. This is a counter off the belly. And it's basically cross buck. We've all run off the VEER, but we do this versus an Okie. We'll show belly play side. We'll base the nose, fake belly, and hand the ball off here. It's been more successful for us than traditional cross buck action because of that guard pull. That play side linebacker's got to respect the guard pull. Fullback fits for him in case he blitzes, and then the backside slot motion is in inserts. So another way to run your counter ISO off the belly action. And last thing, we're running out of time here. I want to get to this is just our pod. So this is how we rep belly. Okay. We're going to rep it versus everything we could see. And we're just going to go get our reps. We're going to get kickouts. We're going to get logs. We're going to spend 5 minutes on this every day, and we're just going to rep it. And we do this two ways. We'll set up a tight end side one on the hash and an open side one and go back and forth. Later in the year, when we want to cut down reps on it, we'll just work it as one group. So this was probably later in the year. And we don't need as many reps, but we'll work every front we could see. 6-1, 4-3, Okie. The idea is after we do this 5-minute pod, belly's ready to run that week. It's ready to go. If it's a big game plan that week, we might come back and do it twice, but usually we do a 5-minute belly pod, and we're just going to practice getting reps over and over and over. Every look we could see, blitzes, slants, everything we could possibly see. So that's kind of how we go about the belly G. So if there's any questions, I'd love to address those now for you guys.
Yeah, let me open up the chat. I think the first one, and Coach Crosby can correct me. I think this is when you were talking about Rocket. Okay,
Okay.
when he put this question here, he said, "Coach, what are your coaching points for the hook by the tackle?"
Good. We bucket step, we cross over, and then we get into him. So we plan that he's going to run out hard, and if he doesn't run out hard, now it's basically a half pull around him. And if he does, we can cross over, we can get leverage on that stead stuff, and then we want to be real physical on that, and we try to kind of set an edge there. And then if we can't get the edge set, that's when we run with him. If we lose him, we'll get our head in front and let him slide down his legs and cut him. But we go bucket, crossover, and then we engage.
All right, another question we got. It says, Coach Lee, can you please detail your play side guard's footwork on his G kick? Do you check mark pull with your shoulders square like Harding, or do you open your shoulders to the sidelines?
We open our shoulders to the sideline. And the reason we do is because we pull a little bit more in our offense, and we don't want to teach two pulls. So we open 45 degrees. We throw the elbow, and then our next step's down. And we'll use that pull for everything we do because we run GT. We run gun GT option where both our guys are pulling. We'll pull the guard for counter option. So we just don't want to teach two different pull techniques. I think if all you were going to run was belly, we would check mark. But since we're going to pull a bunch of different ways, the check mark pull is not good for a lot of other stuff. And we only want to teach one. The other reason is with the check mark stud, it makes it a little bit harder to log. And because we're going to run, a lot of people, the down play is a play you run when you've got the angles and you can get it kicked. And that's the place in the flex ball. For us, it's a hat rack play. You're going to get it 15 times a game, no matter what you run from us. So we want to be a little more flexible. So our footwork is 45 degrees, open step, second step's downhill. We tack the upfield shoulder, try to kick him out.
All right,
Log him if we have to.
I got two questions for you, and then I think we'll be good unless anybody else has any other questions we can add into the chat. My first one involves O-line splits. I know that, everybody is different. Some people will, work smart splits to certain plays. Some
Yep.
people will keep everything, 2 foot or 3 foot splits, or on certain packages. I've in the past, have cheated down when running, a belly G concept just to help,
Yep.
like, at the lower level with the middle school to make sure that we can get that down block. But with you guys, um, Yeah, and specifically the situation that comes up in my head is like the shade technique. Okay, something like a
Right.
shade or a two eye, something to where it's not as easy for that tackle to really get that down block on that inside technique, and that center is
Yeah.
going to have to do more work. Do you guys adjust y'all splits at all, or do you think that that cut block from the center after the snap kind of holds off that technique enough for the tackle to come blazing down?
Yeah, we feel like we can usually get it sealed off with the two guys. Like I said, if he's a shade, we're going to let the center take care of him by himself. If they get it to that 2-eye area and they're not slanting inside, then we call it's just a double team. We teach it basically the same way we do any others. We're trying to get on the hip, except for the steps are a little different. We got to step flat. We don't like to do that because you're 2 for 1 and you've lost a guy up at the next level, but sometimes you have to run the play. If we're balanced, a lot of times we'll check it to the 3 and run it over there, so we don't have to do that. But we're not always balanced, when we're going to run that. We do adjust our splits. We feel like our base splits are 3 foot. We got to be able to run our whole offense out of 3 foot because we're going to go up there and freeze 15 times a game, and then we don't know what we're going to call. So we got to be able to execute everything out of 3 foot splits. We actually, when we run the rocket toss, we go to 2 foot splits because we want to shorten the edge. And when we do our play action pass, we go to 2 foot splits if it's easier pass protection. The belly, we've always kept 3 because of the way we both step flat. It actually lets, like when we get those head up techniques, like that 4 technique, it kind of gives us our guys time to sort it out. Plus, we get a lot of people that are going to try to fight over our down blocks. So it gives our guys more time to adjust on that second step. So we've never really reduced our splits to down block much, like a lot of wing T teams do. Um, we just feel like there's enough stuff in the option game to keep people worried that we want to create the space with the splits. But we do cheat splits on other things, and we cheat them wide on. Sometimes we're running the option and stuff too. So we do split for success some too.
All right. One more, and then I got another. I have a question real quick, and mine should be pretty quick. With your ground strike system, I know everybody has their own, I would guess, taste of flex bone. All right.
Yep.
What do you look for in a fullback? So I know there's some often, I guess the angle I'm coming from is not necessarily like the bare bones, but like some people like the big bruiser, the big blocker, the bull. And there's other
Yeah.
people that like the more agile H-back type that can get out and it's good with their hands. And I know there isn't the quote unquote perfect player that's out there, especially with high school systems. We can't recruit, or I
Yeah.
should say you shouldn't legally recruit at the high school level, but if you have a squad and you're coming in, like let's say you're at a new school, you have a new personnel, and you're trying to figure out who do I need to put at this B back position, what do you usually look for?
Yeah. We're gonna find the best running back on the team, and that's where we're gonna put him if he's tough enough to play there. Not every guy who's the best running back is tough enough to run in between the tackles. But if they'll run up in there and they're not going to hesitate, we want the best guy we got to get the most touches. I mean, I think in a perfect world, you'd have a big guy and a home run hitter. You know what I mean? And like I said, we've had them all different sizes. Um, we were fortunate. We had several guys we had a run of, I think, 9 straight years at Eastern. We were an All-American fullback. Um, and they were almost every single one of them. In fact, every single one of them started as a slot early in their career. They were like a starting slot. And then when one guy would graduate, they would move into the fullback position because they were better than our fullbacks that were the 2 and 3 fullbacks that should have been next in line. There was a reason they were 2 or 3. They weren't as good as the other guy. And we've had a lot of success with that. And I think in high school that, sometimes you got to think players and not plays. And we're so much in the flex bone, we're a scheme system, and I think that's one way where we can think players. When I went down to Brownsville, we didn't really have a true running back in the first year. The first year we had a kid, he was a 250-pound kid, and we were going to make him, and he got hurt. And then we ended up making our freshman quarterback our B back because he was our best athlete with the ball. And he rushed for about 900 yards and did a good job. And because he was the best guy with the ball, he was a freshman, and that's where we needed our guy. The next year, the big guy came back, 260-pound guy, rushed for 1,800 yards, he rushed for 491 yards and 9 touchdowns in the second round of the playoffs, which is pretty good for a 260-pound kid. So that shows you we had a 170-pound freshman one year and a 260-pound senior the next, and we were very successful both years moving the football with those guys.
Right. Let's see. Coach Smith, shoot me an email or a text or get in contact with me about your question, just so I can get a little bit more information about that. Last question before we get Coach Smith on here. It's actually a good question because I was looking at that reverse play over. Coach Baker's asking, do you always pull the guard on reverse, or is that an in-game call?
That's it's the only way we do it now. The only way we're running the reverse is off the belly. We didn't used to. We'd run it off the triple. We even had a reverse off mid triple because we run so much mid triple. But what we found as the years was when we run the reverse, it was always better when we ran it off a belly option. Even though we run other plays far more than we run belly option, we run the reverse off the fly sweep. But just something about that guard pulling helps sell the play. So we've gone so that our reverse that we're running right now is always off of belly option. We do have an end around that we run where we don't pull it. We pull the backside tackle. We pin pull it, kind of like you've seen maybe the Dolphins do, and that's off a rocket. That's really good too. But I think of that as more like a counter end around play more than a true reverse. But right now we're always pulling the guard. And we're always faking belly option.